Hello and welcome to another video on the channel. Today we're looking at the RS Prop Masters Renovation helmet that I've been working on for a few months now. You may have seen it on Facebook and other YouTube videos. So it was sent to me in the condition you see on screen there, and it did need quite a bit of work. The main issues were it had been over trimmed, the faceplate and the backing cap had all been over trimmed, making it quite difficult to get a realistic or screen accurate alignment, and it had quite a few construction issues. The Velcro that you see inside the helmet there, I didn't know originally, but was actually covering lots of holes that had been drilled and then filled with some sort of wood filler. So it was a bit of a minefield once I started to take it apart and see what we were working with. The paint job was okay, but the undercoat wasn't a particularly realistic colour compared to the original HDPE plastic used for these helmets, and the white was very dull, didn't have much of a shine or gloss to it. So again, it did need quite a bit of work there. To get this helmet ready for its fresh coat of paint, I did need to get rid of that top coat. So I had to start sanding the helmet back. Now, as it's an RS Prop Masters helmet cast from an original, it's got those lovely, wonderful lumps and bumps that you really don't want to lose. So I had to be quite gentle with the sanding. It means I couldn't remove all of the paint, but I could remove enough to give me a surface ready to start the paintwork. Some of the images you'll see now as well, you can see the damage to it. There was a large cut or split in one side of it, and also it had a lot of those holes drilled that I had to fill with ABS paste. What you see on screen is as far back as I took the paint, just enough so that it had a clean surface for me to spray the first coat onto. To replicate the original HDPE plastic used on these helmets, I've used a Rust-Oleum Fossil Green as the base coat. The greeny blue substance on the helmet is liquid masking fluid. You apply this to the helmet in any area where you want to show signs of the HDPE look. So if you want to have chips and bumps on the helmet, that's where you would put your liquid masking fluid. You then apply your white primer to give the eventual gloss coat something to grip onto. So now we'll have a look at the actual spray painting being done. The white primer is down, as you can see on screen, but we're now applying a coat of the Ford Diamond White Gloss. Annoyingly, the spray can is just out of shot, but it's about 6 or 7 inches away from the helmet. You can see now that the helmet is starting to get quite a shine to it, which is looking much better. It's a case of trying to spray enough spray paint onto the helmet to give it a glossy finish, but not too much that you flood the surface and the paint starts to drip everywhere. The photos might show here that it was quite dull, didn't have a lot of gloss to it. So I compared that to some armour, some ABS, and again it wasn't quite right. So I purchased another can of the spray paint, the Ford Diamond White, and layered the paint a bit thicker to give it that glossy appearance. You can now see that some of the white paint has come off and looks like it's chipped away. This is simply done by removing the liquid masking fluid that we applied earlier. So of course that removes the top coats of white and then leaves on show the original green or fossil green colour that we sprayed right at the beginning. You can now see that a lot more of the grey details are being added. This is using Humbrol Grey number 5. This is used for the frown and the traps and the tears. And now you're seeing some of the black paint going on as well, which in this case is Humbrol Satin Black number 85. That's used for the vocoder and also the thin black lines that go around the traps and the tears. This is all hand painted, there's no stencils or templates, they're all done by hand. With a bit of motion here, you can really see how this helmet picks up the light. It's got a lovely texture to it, again very reminiscent of those original spray painted helmets. It's a very different appearance to a typical ABS helmet and is really suited for a collector's piece. On the top middle photo here, you can see masking tape applied to help with the black lines on the rear traps. You can now see them painted. Using masking tape gives a really neat appearance top and bottom. The tears, which is the grey area below the eyes, the black lines in those tears are just hand painted for a more natural look. You can now see that the tube stripes have been added. We'll look at the process of that in just a moment. Next up we get a glimpse at how the tube stripes were painted on. So no stencils or templates, just using masking tape top and bottom and then freehand in between. Click on the link on the top right hand side if you want more information on how these tube stripes were painted. Hopefully with some video rather than just photos, you'll see how the light bounces off of this helmet. The texture of the paint is so reminiscent of those original A New Hope painted helmets. For those with a very keen eye, you may have noticed that one side of the grey painted frown is longer than the other. That's to match up with the source material, which in this case this is based on the Set for Stun or Dave M helmet. The painting is exactly the same on that original helmet. As I've mentioned in many videos, notice how sharp the corners of the eyes are. This is very common with A New Hope Stormtroopers. They're not soft or rounded off with sandpaper or Dremels, they're nice sharp corners. Next up, this is a side-by-side comparison with the inspiration here, the Set for Stun or Dave M helmet. Due to the over trimming and a few other reasons, the ear alignment is slightly different, but the paint scheme, the damage applied is all based on that Set for Stun helmet. So there we go, the helmet is finished and ready to go back to its owner. I hope you've enjoyed this video and showing the process of how you can create your own replica Stormtrooper helmet. If you have, please feel free to drop a like and subscribe. Any questions, just pop them in the comments. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.